Key Nation, what is going on, man? It's your boy Manuel Keen, and today, you see it in the title, we're going to be going over the practical tips for recording. I done did this intro 6 times already. We're not doing it again. We're going to be going over the practical tips for recording professional vocals, fam. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Stay that like button, so we a movement, boy. Let's get it. Alright, Key Nation, welcome to the channel, man. If you're new, make sure you hit that like button, because I'm finna drop some super duper gems for y'all. I have people that hit me up and they ask me, how do you record professional vocals, Ken? Well, they don't say it specifically like that, but they say, yo, how do your vocals sound so good? And it really comes down to the artist at the end of the day. What is the artist doing in order to make the vocals that they are singing and or rapping sound so good? And me personally, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I think I sound pretty good whenever it comes down to my music and what you guys listen to. So I say, you know what? Let me at least give you guys some tidbits as to what I do, so that you guys can do the exact same thing whenever you're recording your vocals. Because I know this is like I said, it's an audio engineering channel. In my previous videos, you can see it's an audio engineering channel, but some of you artists are trying to be audio engineers as well, like in the lane that I'm in. So I'm finna give you guys some tips on exactly what you need to do in order to record professional vocals. So without further ado, let's get right into it, man. As you guys can clearly see, I got my demonstration, my example of my demonstration right here, man. This is the mic, and I want to show you guys specifically as to what you need to do whenever you record professional vocals. Now, the very first thing that I will say, though, that you definitely need to make and take into account is gain staging. Gain staging, King, what is that? We don't know what gain staging is. It is the levels that you record at, the signal that the audio software or your DAW, your box, whatever you want to call it, Logic, Pro Tools, Reason, FL Studio, whatever. You feel me? You want to make sure that whenever you're recording, that the levels are good. Okay, now, what do you mean by this? I'm going to tell you what I mean by this. You want to make sure that the levels aren't too low. You want to make sure that the levels aren't too high, because either which way, the recording engineer or your mixing engineer ain't gonna like it. They ain't gonna like it. Whenever they mix, they gonna have to boost the vocals up, and it might distort depending on what microphone you using. Okay, this is a pretty expensive mic, so you know I could test its limits. You feel me? But if you have like a $100 mic or a $50 mic, bro, you want to make sure that whenever you recording, you want to make sure that you are the gain staging is appropriate for what you're recording. Make sure that that level is. Me personally, I like to record around -15 to -12 dB, because if you look on the fader, you'll see that it goes all the way up to 0, which means 0 is the highest that you can go. You have your negatives at under that. I don't know why it's like that. I don't know why it doesn't start from 0 and up. But you know, I'm not a the creation of engineering. So I don't know. But all I know is that it goes from negative whatever all the way up to 0. So me personally, I like to record around -15 to -12. That's a nice little sweet spot. I like to be light skinned at all times, man. That's exactly why I got that light right there. That's my desktop. Okay, I need to be light skinned at all times. But boom. So yeah, that's exactly what you want to make sure. Gain staging, number one, very important. Make sure you take that into account when you're recording. Now, number two, I wrote it down and I forgot. Let me look. Let me look. Number two, man, you want to make sure that you are a legitimate distance away from the mic. You can't be up all on the mic like this. Don't be up on the mic like this, fam. People, look, don't. This ain't it. That ain't it, fam. I'm telling you that right now. Don't be up on the mic like that, bro. You be up on the mic like that, your vocals are gonna come out super duper muddy. Super muddy, dirty, all close to the mic. It's gonna sound all compressed and all. It's just not gonna sound good, bro. Do not be all up on the mic like that, and or lady, okay? Whatever you identify with, we ain't finna get into all of that, cause you know. But whatever you identify as your gender, don't be all up on the mic like this, alright? You want to make sure that you are a proper distance away from the mic. Now, not too much of a distance away from the mic, because if you all the way right here with it, that the signal ain't it's not gonna pick up nothing. Okay, it's gonna be quiet. You're not gonna have, and then like I said, the engineer is gonna have to do whatever they can do in order to make sure that their vocals are straight. Make sure that your vocals are straight, but you don't want that. You do not want that. You want to make sure. Me personally, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna show y'all. I like to make sure that I'm about 6. Ooh, what's going on, pop filter? Let's get it together. All right. You want to make sure you're about this is a good distance. You want to make sure you're about six inches. I like to say about 6 inches away from the mic. That way the mic picks up, you know, a moderate amount of signal from your voice, right? And it's not too quiet, it's not too loud, it's just right. You know, you want to make sure that your vocals aren't overpowering, you know, because like I said, you're not gonna make it very fun for the mixing engineer if your vocals is crazy. And that's why whenever I send my vocals to engineers, they're like, bro, I just love the way that you sent your vocals. It sounds so good, so clear, so concise. You want to make it as easy as possible for your engineer. If you're the mixing engineer, then you know exactly how you want your vocals. But if you send it to something else, somebody else, you want to make sure that you're listening to these tips that I'm giving y'all right now, because engineers are gonna be mad as hell if you send them some crazy stuff and they're gonna be like, bro, I ain't trying to work with you no more. And they'll be like, man, I ain't listening to King. That's your fault. That's your fault you ain't listening to me. I'm telling you guys exactly what you need to do in order to get professional vocals. Okay, so you want to make sure that you are an appropriate amount of distance away from the mic. Like I said before, think of it as a ruler, about 6 inches, right in the middle between your pop filter. Make sure that you got a pop filter now, because if you don't got no pop filter, you don't click off this video, okay? Unless you got a windscreen or something like that that's controlling those plosives. But if you don't got no pop filter, bro, click off this video, man. You ain't worthy. Nah, just buy one, because that's needed. You definitely need a pop filter. But like I said, make sure that you 6 inches away from the microphone. That's gonna be super duper important whenever you are recording your vocals. Now, number 3, pronunciation. So important. And I'm gonna tell you why pronunciation is important. I know mumble rap is a thing where you yeah, that's cool, and you know, people gravitate towards it, you know, and you don't, if you're not pronouncing specifically, people ain't really tripping off of that, just as long as it quote unquote sounds good, right? The melody that you singing and people can vibe to it and bop to it or whatever the case is, then they ain't really tripping off of that. But I'm telling you right now, bro, look at the greats. All right, we are striving to be as great as possible, and the greats are Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Drake. At least those are the top tier artists right now that everybody recollects as number 1, number 2, number 3, whatever order y'all have them in. But those are the great and the top artists right now, the top tier artists. And when you think about their music, do you clearly hear what they saying? Yes, you clearly hear what they saying. You know exactly what they saying. Kendrick Lamar is great with using big words and twisting them and flipping them and making them sound, you know, but clear and concise. We hear them. And same thing with J. Cole, same thing with Drake. All right, so we want to make sure that we're striving to be just like them, and the way to be just like them is pronunciate. They want to hear what you got to say. Now think about it. Put your ears on the other all right, put your ears in the ears of a listener. That's how I'm gonna say it, because I'm you know, my mind is all jumbled up today. But put your ears in the ears of the listener. Or do they hear what you're saying? Be completely honest with yourself. If they can't hear what you're saying, bro, then I suggest you record it. Re-record it over again. Re-record it over again. Don't just be like, oh man, that's hard. Nah, man. You can't, no. Put your ears in the ears of the listener and and think to yourself, do they understand what I'm talking about? Because if they not understanding what you're talking about, then there's no point. I promise you, there is no point. Pronunciate. Make sure that, or enunciate and pronounce your words. Make sure that people understand what you're saying. All right, that's very, very, very important. Like I said, we striving to be great around here, man. We striving to be great. Number 4, your recording environment. Now, this is very, very important. And if you think about it too, all these tips that I'm giving y'all, they're in no particular order. Every single one of them are important. I ain't gonna say one is more important than the other, because that's not the situation at all. Every single one of these tips are important. So they are, each and every one of them hold the same weight. Your recording environment. Now, as you guys can clearly see, I got acoustic panels all around this room. Okay, that's very important, because one is good for your mixing engineer, because he needs to have, or she needs to have, an accurate representation of what they're hearing whenever they're mixing down vocals, right? That's number 1. But number 2, you want to make sure that the frequencies that you're putting out with your voice are being absorbed. And one of the main things that kind of gets, you know, lost in translation whenever you're recording is those low frequencies, right? Firstly, we can't even really hear it, but you have those sedimentary elements around that low frequency range. You want to make sure that your recording environment is legitimately absorbing those bad frequencies so that you don't get any reverb, you don't get any other elements that's legitimately messing with your recording, okay? That's part of the reason why, you know, you have these acoustic panels or whatever you have to absorb those frequencies around the room, because you want to make sure you achieve a flat response whenever you're recording. You want to get it as flat as possible, right? You don't want high frequencies bleeding, you don't want low frequencies bleeding whenever you're recording. You want to make sure that you achieve as flat as possible so that when you do alter the sound in mixing, right, and when you do alter the sound in recording, that everything is flat so that you can go crazy with whatever you want to go crazy with, and you don't have to do surgical procedures whenever you're mixing, meaning you have to, you know, doing everything that you can do in order to achieve that flat response, so then you can start to mix and do. No, you don't want that. You want to make sure that everything is flat from the get-go, okay? That's super important. So, recording environment. I get people and artists that hit me up all the time, bro, how do you do this? How do you do this, man? Your recording environment is key. I tell people all the time, your recording environment is key. It don't matter, okay? It can be acoustic panels, acoustic foam, carpet, egg cartons, like y'all saw on Hustle or Flow, if y'all old enough to know what that movie is. You know, it does not matter. You just want to make sure that you have something to control your listening environment so that, or your recording environment, so that when you're recording, you get those professional vocals, okay? That's very, very important. It comes down to the artist at the end of the day. Okay, if the artist isn't recording professional vocals, then you're not gonna have a professional sound. Point blank, period. All right, I'm keeping it 100,000 with y'all, man. I ain't playing no games out here. You feel me? So, boom, that's number 4. Number 5, you want to make sure that you have a dope engineer, fam. Wiz Khalifa, as I said before, Wiz Khalifa said it best. You cannot have a dope artist without having a dope engineer. How credible is your engineer? Do they have experience? Now, when you first start off recording, you might not necessarily have the money for an engineer to record at. You know, you might not have the knowledge to record that. You might not have the knowledge to mix your own vocals down. That's perfectly fine. That is what practice is for, right? But as you practice and as you get better, you're going to start to realize, okay, these are the things that I'm starting to do wrong. These are the things that I need to do in order to make my voice sound like this. And that's exactly what it's for. You just need to get out there and start doing it. But at the end of the day, you're going to start getting that experience, right? Acquiring those accolades that you need to have in order to make your sound what it needs to sound like, so that people can gravitate towards the music. And the way that you do that is by having a dope engineer, whether that be you or whether that be somebody else. Now, if you don't have the money to do it, go out there during the weekend, you know, work some odd and end jobs, whatever you need to do. It's really, really easy to get a job today. Go out there during the weekend or during your 9 to 5, pick up some extra shifts or whatever, so that you can record and pay for another engineer to do your stuff, okay? Now, if you don't want to do that, then you need to sit down, make time for yourself, learn all the tutorials, watch Keen, watch me, watch whoever else you need to watch in order to acquire the information that you need to acquire, so that you can do the exact same thing that we doing and build yourself up to be a dope engineer. Now, if that's what you want to do that as well. Either which way, you need to have a dope engineer, period, point blank. Okay, very, very important. You need to make sure that you have a dope engineer so that you can be a dope artist and that you can have professional vocals. That's super, super important. I cannot reiterate that enough. All right, so that is it, man. Those are the 5 practical tips that I came up with in order to record professional vocals. Very, very, very important, man. So, like I said, rewind it. Like this video if y'all vibing with it, man. If y'all really like what I had to say, like this video, man, give it a thumbs up. If you guys got any questions, please comment down below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to try to get back to them. I definitely answer all of my comments. It don't be that many comments, but you know, we gonna build this channel up, fam. Whenever we build this channel up and we start to go crazy with the comments, I'm gonna try my best to answer what I can. You feel me? So anyways, thank y'all so much, man. I really appreciate y'all, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one, fam. Gang.